You've reached the grubby apartment of Malcolm Lockwell. How may I help you?
Hey Malcolm, how's it going? Phone voice guy. We were all wondering about the storyline. Maybe
Okay.
we were.
How weird is
Oh,
this? I was
oh,
just about to call you to say the same thing.
really, really.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
I know. I know.
Crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah. Hey,
Right.
so are we still doing
Yeah.
it or no?
Yeah. No. 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 We're
No.
we're uh
Oh,
we're done with this. No. This
okay.
is
Yeah.
just
No, I mean
no. We're no one like.
people
We're
didn't
done.
like it.
We're done.
Right. Yep.
I know, folks. I'm sure you were all very interested and invested in whatever that storyline was, but it's just too intrusive, don't you think? Let's get on to the juicy, meaty kind of stuff. I'm talking video games. Sonic the Hedgehog. To many, he is an emblem of nostalgia, representing the good old days of gaming back when all we had were, well, 16 bits and a couple of buttons to our name. A veteran of the console wars, Sonic lives on to this day as the much beloved and often beguiled mascot of Sega. To say he's fallen on hard times lately would be a massive understatement, as the last several titles in the Sonic oeuvre have been nothing short of absolute tragedy. Much like any other veteran, we treat Sonic with a modicum of respect and then look the other way as the cruel hand of fate hands him sour grape after sour, sour grape. When mocked or otherwise berated for their chosen favorite series, Sonic the Hedgehog fans will often curl into a little ball and relent to their attackers, saying things like, well, yeah, the recent games are really bad, but the first two games were amazing. Or, sure, Sonic 06 was the worst, but there's a reason those first two games are classics. And to those die-hard fans, I say that Mall Flanders is also considered a classic. Boom. Classic literature zinger. But like any good devil's advocate, I can see that these Sonic apologists have a good point. I mean, Sonic the Hedgehog and Sonic the Hedgehog 2 are good games. And I say good, not great, because they are rife with problems, not the least of which being the fact that a game which prides itself on allowing you to go really fast is constantly tripping you up and stopping your forward momentum. That's not good game design. That's putting the cart before the horse. Or the speedy hedgehog before the level design. Or, I don't know, depends on how metaphorical you want to be. I know, despite that classic Mall Flanders literature zinger that had you all rolling on the floor laughing not moments ago, I'm pretty weak when it comes to literary devices. But, my dear people of the internet, fans of my work will know that I do not make a living lamenting the negative aspects of my defendants, although, frankly, I could spend hours on how the characters, level design, gameplay, and overall concept is moronically uninteresting. But I am an internet defense attorney, and I shall play my part accordingly. Even though I think we can all agree that Sonic the Hedgehog is a series that is transmogrified into some sort of hideous, eldritch, leech thing, sucking at the underbelly of an otherwise successful video game company. But I digress. Fine people of the court, this entry is not a look at Sonic the Hedgehog per se, but at the real-life genius behind one of the most often overlooked aspects of video game design. Today, in an effort to show how Sonic the Hedgehog has merit beyond his super speedy shoes... No, I'm not letting that go. It says magic speedy shoes or some shit on the package. That's dumb, man. I will be defending Japanese video game composer Masato Nakamura, a man who will undoubtedly go down in history as a genius who never received as much credit as he so dearly deserved. Fine people of the court, examine with me, if you will, the marvel that is video game music. Step into your time machine and travel back with me to the golden age of video gaming, when story was secondary, gameplay was undisputed king, and Mass Effect was just a glint in Monkey Island's eye. This was a time filled with difficult and challenging platformers, side-scrollers, and beat-em-ups that would relentlessly lay you flat on your ass if you so much as blinked at an inopportune time. I'm still getting residuals from those Ninja Gaiden negligence suits. The 80s was a good time if you were a slick douchebag. The point being, video games back in those days had a number of really difficult jobs to perform. They needed to entertain you by sucking you into the world they portrayed, while at the same time, holding your interest long enough so that you didn't walk away in anguish when you died a couple of times. Everything from the character design, level design, gameplay, playability, color palette, and yes, even music, had to be meticulously designed to urge the player to keep going even when they failed. Composers of the music had a particularly difficult job, because they needed to craft many different loops of music such that the player could hear them a million times over without going insane, chucking the controller at the television, and venturing forth into the real world to, I don't know, have human interactions or something? I've read about it, I don't know. And let me tell you folks, as someone who's dabbled in the art of music writing, it ain't easy. Okay, first you gotta get an idea, then you have to have talent to make that idea happen, then you have to find somebody who recognizes that you have talent and made something happen, then they gotta put it out there, they've gotta get it to people, and then the worst part, people have to actually enjoy it, alright? For me, it's the worst. For Masato Nakamura, on the other hand, he's got it in the bag! Think about what Sonic the Hedgehog is in concept. You got that broiling away up there? Okay, good. Now I want you to picture the pitch meeting where some big Sega higher-up had to come to Nakamura and explain to him what kind of music he would be making. Hey, Nakamura-san. Picture this. You're a blue fucking hedgehog going way faster than any hedgehog should be going. And you're in a casino at night. We need you to make a tune for that thing that I just told you about. Yeah, no, I know what that sounds like. Give me a couple seconds, huh? Great. Oh, and hey, you gotta make this shit infinitely listenable on repeat, because odds are good that these dumb as fuck kids are gonna be eating shit all up and down this casino night zone level, you know what I mean? Get it done. Oh yeah, I just assumed. Yeah, no problem. Here you go, buddy boy. What's the Japanese word for golden goose? You know, on second thought, I don't care. Just get that to me on Monday. Thanks. Monday! I have reliable sources that is actually how it went down. Now, I don't know about you, but when I'm exercising or writing or doing some other mindless activity, I tend to listen to rather unobtrusive music. By that I mean I tend to listen to soundtrack music, songs without lyrics, or songs that I've heard many, many times before, so that it provides a base level of sound while not intruding on the main activity. I mean, I think we all like to imagine our daily routines as having soundtracks, am I right, Aaron Brockovich, the original soundtrack on repeat? Take running, for example. More often than not, when I'm out for a jog, I like to listen to video game music. It's what video game composers refer to as universal music, which is a lofty-minded way of saying music for any occasion. When performing routine tasks, this type of music keeps the brain focused in a way that new sounds or traditional music with lyrics can't. Think of your brain as an analog radio. All day long it's got all of these worries and cares and words and things that people have said to you, all that kind of stuff, floating around up there. And if you're anything like most of America, statistically, you kind of have a hard time getting the fuzz out of your head, turning the dials to the right station, if you catch my drift. Pop in a soothing, unobtrusive track like this, however, and your mind starts flowing to the soothing rhythm of regulation. Sonic the Hedgehog and Sonic the Hedgehog 2 have soundtracks that engage the player without overwhelming them in an otherwise overwhelming experience. The songs keep the player on track, while also urging them onward towards the next goal. Much like a John Williams score tells you how to feel at certain points in a Spielberg flick, Nakamura's music keeps you going through all those wacky hedgehog zones you gotta muddle through. So yes, Sonic the Hedgehog is long past his expiration date, egregiously so, but the brilliant musical stylings of Masato Nakamura will live on for much, much longer, making us remember fondly Sonic the Hedgehog and Sonic the Hedgehog 2 as the wonderful games that they were. So what do you think? Is Sonic worth remembering? Or should we bury him, forget him, and let him rot somewhere deep, deep beneath the ground? Beneath Chernobyl, maybe? Seems fitting, right? The verdict is in your humble hands, so let me know in the comments what you think. And if you enjoyed this video about video game music, there will surely be many more to come about the wonderful world of VGM. Until then, I've been Malcolm Lockwell, the first, last, and only name in internet defense. And I'll see you in court.